Yishem Adonai Baruch Matav Adolam Tu Bishvat. Number 3, Chodesh Tov. Today is the Rosh Chodesh of Shevat. Hat Tashpat 2024. So Chodesh Tov. First, I want to say thank you to the Kazowski family for hosting the shiur with beautiful and wonderful treats and food, different type of fruit, and we have wines and white wine and red wine. Okay. Thanks for all those who brought the drinks and participated. Leah, Daniela, and I forgot someone. Amy. I think Amy. And I want to wish you behemet. You have nachas from all your children. You have peace in your house. Shlom bayit, brocho v'atzlocho, long life and healthy life. Amen. L'chaim. We already said the bracha before we start this broadcasting. So those who think, God forbid, we didn't say bracha. Amen. So let me just mention something in regards to these beautiful days called the days of Shevat, Tu Bishvat. It's when we switch from Nekeva, female days in Kabbalah, to male days. It's times of Chesed, it's times of giving. And, we've learned last time that if you know how to eat properly, and we'll see in a minute what does that mean to eat properly, you'll be able to take out the nitzotzot from the klipa, the sparks from the klipa, to do tikkun. Me? I can do tikkun. How can I do tikkun? What do I do? Have I done it before? It's only from today. How do I do tikkun with achila? Eating a lot? Eating good food, kosher food makes the tikkun. What makes the tikkun? If I want to rectify something that is related to achila, what should I do? You get the question? It's a rhetorical question. So, anytime we do that, the neshama grows more and more. But if you mess it up, the neshama loses lots of its power.
How do you mess it up?
We'll see in a minute. How you make a neshama grow. What does that mean to do the tikkun? I don't know if you notice in Judaism, a lot of mitzvot are related to seudah. Right? After Shabbat, after every tefillah, we have seudah, and brit milah, bar mitzvah, and chasana. Amen. So, why do we need that? What's so special about the seudah? The tikkun of achila. What's the first sin? I mentioned that last week. First sin on earth, eating. All what the problems we have today comes from Adam messing up with his bracha, with a sin that is related to eating. So we are here to rectify that. Amen. So I'm going to ask you a very simple question. What is the proper way to do bracha? And if we do it the proper way, we are metaknin, we are doing a tikkun. There's 5 categories. How to do bracha. Some of you just made the bracha over the wine, or already for food. I'm sure you already thought about these 5 categories. Let's just share it. What bracha required from us? What are the requirements or the categories for bracha? And with the proper bracha, we do the tikkun. If you mess it up, remember you asked me to mess it up? You didn't do tikkun, you did the opposite. Not what kind of brachot. In which way I should do how should I perform a bracha?
With kavana, with intent.
Kavana, that's number 1.
Loudly, so that somebody else can say amen.
Now loudly, out loud. Number 2, what else?
Thinking about what you're going to do.
That's kavana.
Okay.
Let me help you out.
Gratitude.
You have to grab and hold what you are about to say bracha.
With the right hand.
Not to do any. Not to have a break between the bracha and the eating, not even silently. And the fifth one, should not talk till you swallow even a little bit of. So let me repeat the 5 categories. If you do that, you did a tikkun in the achila. Bracha should be slowly and with kavana. Number 1. Are you taking notes, right? In your head, right? In your head. Why are you laughing, Zach?
Because half the time when I got the food in my mouth, and like, oh, I got to say bracha now.
So number 1. Wow, we have 2 participants on the Zoom.
Whoa.
It's my fault. I sent a message 5 minutes ago. I forgot to send it. I sent to some groups, and anyway, that's my fault. But they will be able, B'ezras Hashem, to see it on the YouTube later. First one, it says bimtinut ubechavana. Bimtinut meaning slowly. Take your time with the bracha. Baruch atah Elokeinu melech haolam. Bore peri hagefen. Some say bore feri hagefen. Huh?
Yeah, why?
Why do they say for you?
Do you really want me to tell you why now? I'll tell you, okay. Because you're pushing me. You're pushing me.
It's the same
Ma-
letter.
No, there is the Yamin I do Bore Feri Geffen. Feri Geffen. Why? In Hebrew, there's something called Ehevi. You heard about the letters Ehevi? Aleph, Hey, Vav, and Yud.
Yeah.
Any letter that comes after Ehevi loses its dagesh, loses the dot inside. So Bore, what's the last letter of Bore? Aleph. It's from the Ehevi. What comes after Bore? Peri. You can't say Peri. I have to say Feri because it loses the gesh.
But it's a different word. Oh.
It doesn't matter. That's the law of the Dikduk.
Okay.
If I need to explain to you why, it's going to take me. I don't want to go there, but just take my words on it. Ehevi. Any letter after Ehevi loses its dagesh. Dagesh, the dot inside, that makes emphasize the letter. Pe versus fe. Ve, vetecha, beitecha.
So then it's Pharaoh, not Pharaoh.
It depends what letter comes before Pharaoh.
Aleph, right?
Let's say ani, Pharaoh, no ani paro, ani, because Yud is from Ehevi, it loses the dagesh.
Oh,
Well, even if it's a different
Okay.
word, even.
right. Now then explains why some...
I saw melech paro, no melech pharaoh. Melech is chaf. Melech is going to be paro, right? Okay. Now, the first one is slowly and kavana. The second one, you have to be able to hear your brachot. It's even greater, it's even better if other people hear you because they will reply amen. They get the zchus, the merit and the mitzvah, and you get the mitzvah. So I can do, if I say Bore Pri HaGefen, how many mitzvot I made? In 3 seconds. How many mitzvot? 5. Why you said 5? You make up the... This is yours, right? ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הטוב והמיטיב. Why you say 5? You just throw out a number? No, if I say bracha, how many mitzvot? I mean, how many mitzvot I do when I say one bracha?
One.
Wow.
This is only my fault because I didn't share it enough times. I didn't. No, tell me.
It depends how many people said amen. Then you add the
Oh.
one.
Before, let's say all by myself. How many mitzvot?
Then you do the 5
Every word, it's a mitzvah.
Every word?
Every word is a mitzvah.
Wow.
So, Baruch Ata Adonai Elokeinu Melech Haolam Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. How many mitzvot? 10. I keep the entire Yom Kippur, 1 mitzvah.
Wow.
All Passover, 1 mitzvah.
Wow.
3 seconds bracha, 10 mitzvot. Is it worth it to say brachot?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But Is there a difference?
Skadal v'skadash mirabo. We can wrap it up. Any questions so far?
Is there a difference between Hagafen and Hagefen?
Yes, some says Hagafen, some says Hagefen. It depends on your minhag, because in the Torah, sometimes it says Hagefen, sometimes it says Hagefen. It depends where the quote comes from. Now, anytime you're saying a bracha, you're doing one mitzvah for each word. So if I say Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, how many mitzvot I make? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, 6 mitzvot. The Gaon in Vilna counts every letter even, but he just count that you can do in 1 minute Torah learning, 1 minute Torah learning. Just try to count how many words you read in 1 minute. Some says it's around 200 words that you can read out loud every minute. So if I read 10 minutes, I made 2,000 mitzvot.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? Okay, going back to what we said, that's not the topic I wanted to focus on. In order to do tikkun in achila that will benefit us and the entire world. By the way, it's a big difference between a Jew and a non-Jew. A Jews, whatever they do, will do. Okay. Amen. Will do tikkun for the entire world. Will benefit the entire world. Every time a Jew is doing mitzvah. Versus non-Jew, it benefits himself. If you do avera, a sin, only him will suffer the consequences. Okay? Not the entire world. A Jew has bigger responsibility. When they do mitzvot, everyone's benefiting out of it. They do averot, everyone's suffering. The entire world. I give you an example. One example I think that Gaon Vilna brings. That only one group will be suffering the consequences, and it's not affecting the entire world. When a non-Jew commits sins, can you give me an example? It's in the Tanakh, one of the books. Almost the whole book is all about that. The book starts with Yo and with Na. Very good. Who
I was
sinned?
still thinking about it.
Believe me, some people that were still thinking about it. Who committed a sin? The Nineveh people. Well, affected only Nineveh. Okay, just so now going back. 1, slowly and kavana. 2, you have to hear the brachot. When you say tefillah, you have to hear your tefillah. The only tefillah that you do silently is the silent tefillah, the Shmoneh Esrei. If you do it at home, it has to be a little bit in a way that you be able to hear yourself, just a little bit. Why we don't say it in the tefillah in the shul out loud? Because you don't want to disturb anybody, everyone else. Right? You see some people disturbing other people, they have a lot of kavanah. And when they do tahanun, they're breaking the chest. First of all, right, so first of all, they're taking other people's attention. That's another one problem. Secondly, why you hitting your chest? Just a reminder to your heart that he is the cause of your sin. That's it. Not the whole world need to get confused because of you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So number 1, kavana, slowly. Number 2, you have to hear what comes out of your mouth. Any tefillah. By the way, give me an example. You get a prize. You get a prize. Larry will give $1,000. You know what? Larry will give a ketchup. You give ketchup.
I have ketchup.
That's worth more than
That's more than Robin, don't you
Sometimes it's worth more than $1,000. Okay. If you tell me, give me an example where we learned in the Torah that it has to be out loud. Tefillah has to be in a way, not out loud, in a way that you hear your prayers. I give you a hint in the book of Shemot. Book of Shemot, the 5 books. Okay, I'll tell you. It's one of the 10 plagues. It's related to one of the 10 plagues. Moshe Rabbeinu, in one plague, it says that he shouted out. He was screaming the prayers. It was related only to this plague. It's a plague that makes so much sound, he could not hear himself. He had to shout it out.
Frogs?
The frogs, Leah, kol hakavod. It was so loud, he could not hear himself. The Torah says, Vayitzak. He screamed, so he can hear himself. If you don't hear yourself, it doesn't consider tefillah.
What's my price?
Verstehst? Okay. Verstehen. Tov.
That again? What?
So, number one, slowly in kavana. Number two, you have to hear the tefillah and the bracha. Number three, you have to hold it in your right hand. Anything you're saying a bracha over, even if you're about just to smell, okay, it can be in front of you. The besomim, I don't know if you noticed that when they do besomim, fragrance, right? An Havdalah, you see the rabbi, before he's doing the bracha, he's holding the besomim in his hand. You can't just leave it there and say, and then grab it and smell it. You have to hold it in your hand. This is why they have to switch hands with the cup. And so
If you're a lefty?
you can do it in your left hand.
Good.
In Kabbalah it says, even if you're permitted to do it on your left hand, because you're lefty, it's worth it to hold it on your right hand. Kiddush you can do on your left hand. How do you do Kiddush? How do you do Kiddush?
I'm a
Left?
lefty, so I do it with my left.
Always?
I'm left handed with the right.
Okay. Next.
I'll switch to the right now. Switch to the right.
Because it's chesed, it brings a lot of good power, good energy to the house. Okay. 4. Not to have any break between the bracha and the eating or tasting the food. Even not with the silence. For example, Baruch, Bore, Priya Gafen. Close the door, please. Give me the. That's a problem. Or Bore, Priya Gafen. You can't do that. You have to finish immediately the process with drinking or eating. Okay? So, slowly and kavana. Number 2, have to hear. Number 3, hold it in your right hand. Number 4, no gap, no breaks in between bracha and the drinking or eating or whatever you said bracha over. And the last one, you may not talk till you swallow some of it or you smell from the fragrance. Bore priya gafen. I wanted to share with you something. Got it? Right. You do it that way, this is a complete tikkun in this world. So let's try to do it at least once a week, once every Shabbat, till it'll become part of our habit. All what I mentioned here, it's very easy to do. Very easy to do. We all agree? Okay, you want to ask something? You raised your hand before?
No, I don't.
Okay, you got it?
You
Okay.
already answered.
Okay, okay. Advice. I'm going to share with you an idea, an advice that our sages bring, because I don't know if you're aware of this. The world of brachot has a lot of. It's complicated. It's complex. Believe me. There's so many opinions, and there's problems with brachot that if you don't have the proper kavana over one food onto another, it raises a question if you need to say a bracha, a second bracha. For example, I'm eating now an apple and then my wife just brought me grapes. Do I need to say another bracha now? Because I didn't know she's going to bring it. And then I went to the refrigerator and I took a different type of fruit. Another bracha I ate, or no. You understand what I'm saying? So the best thing to do, the best method is the following. In order to get rid of these problems and issues, one, when I say bracha on one species, let's say ha'etz kind of fruit, I should have in mind to cover for everything that is ha'etz. Okay? everything that it's in my house. Apple. Just have in mind. I'm covering everything in the house. If my wife will bring me later, I don't know, different orange or clementina or whatever, it's covered. I don't have to say bracha over it. A guest doesn't know what they're going to brought before him. He's a guest. Have in mind, whatever they serve, it's part of my bracha, either shehakol, adama, ha'etz, so forth and so on. Is that good?
Mm-hmm. Should we do that for here also?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right now I have the kavanah. Thank you for bringing it up. And you have kavanah in your head, number 3, that the bracha you just made covers me and the entire house. If I go from this room to the other room, if I go from the living room to the bedroom, with the food, without the food, I'm going to continue eat there, I have there other food. It's covered. Now, leaving the house is another issue, we'll see it later. And it's related to a certain food, not every food. If you left the house, come back, you need to say bracha. I don't have to say bracha. I went to the restroom. I have to say bracha. Give an example. You're davening in the morning. You have talit. Or Shabbat, you have talit. Or tefillin. You took them off. You went to the restroom. Coming back, you have to say the bracha again.
No.
I don't think there's any hefsek. You don't talk and you have in mind you're going to put it back on.
So the question, what's hefsek? What's considered hefsek?
Talking.
If hefsek means I have it in mind. Can I have in mind the feeling in the restroom?
No.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Avadia Paskin that for talit, for example, as long as the break is not exceeded 30 minutes, just put it on, you're all good. Just an example. I don't want to go through it right now. I'm just giving you food for thought. You see, it's complex. It's not easy. People take brachot lightly. And they don't know what they mean. Believe me, there's people 80 and 90 years old, and they never said in their life one time, from people, one time, brachat amotzi lechem min haaretz properly. And I prove it to you later. That many do mistake, unless you heard my class before. By the way, I don't know the name yet, but I want to dedicate this Torah class for the sake of the neshama of the father of Yosef Browns. His father passed away this morning.
Oh no.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, next part is brachot, blessing, that we do after the meal. It's another big issue. Most people don't say bracha achrona. If it's not Birkas Hamazon, people tend to forget. They go all their life and they're missing brachot on the records. Before we continue with the brachot after, do you want to do the little test of Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz?
Okay.
Let's do it. I'm going to go each and one of you and just say the last words. Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. Go ahead.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amy, don't hide.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Hamotzi lechem haaretz. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Min haaretz.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Now, I guarantee you want to say we all did.
No.
Go ahead.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Okay, only 2 here did it the right way. Only 2. Karen and Leah.
You can take over.
Why? All the rest, and it's a very common mistake, okay? But from now on, you're not going to do this mistake anymore.
Right, words together.
Not only the words counts, the letter counts. And except Karen and Leah, all of you missed at least one letter.
Min.
When you say Amotzi lechem min haaretz, you miss the mem of the min haaretz. You're supposed to say Amotzi lechem min haaretz, two mems. Lechem min. Most of people says Amotzi lechem min haaretz. They combine the two mems. Yeah, you knew that that's the proper way to do it? Okay, so probably I messed it up. So Daniela also, we have three. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Here. I got 2 prizes now.
Is it proper to do l'chaim with an empty cup?
Oh, wait a minute. Give him the wine bottle.
I'm just throwing questions.
Yeah, that's for shalom.
Okay. Any questions so far?
I have a question
Go ahead.
on the bracha for potato chips. Are those considered
Adoma.
Adama?
Okay. Okay, next.
Not Adama,
Adama.
same thing? Okay. Like Hagefen and Hagafen? You say Hagefen.
If you want to say the proper way, it should be ha'adama.
It's a very...
Okay? But let's not go there right now because it's a different topic.
But you said Hadama.
The blessing after eating. How do you know that we need to say any brachot after eating?
Well,
Where's your proof?
in the Birkat Hamazon, it says you should eat and be sad, you should bless. It says so in the Bible.
Give me a proof that I need to say bracha after eating. I understand that I need to say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everything is yours, so I'm blessing Hashem. Otherwise I consider that I'm as if I'm stealing. So I don't want to be a ganev. I don't want to be a thief. Consider a thief in heaven. I have to say. So what's your proof from?
The pasuk.
Oh, thank you. That's what I was waiting for. Tell me this word, pasuk. We have a verse in the Torah that states that clearly you have to say bracha after you eat. Even this pasuk brought a lot of discussion. Because the pasuk says when you eat and you're satisfied, you say bracha. So what does that mean, satisfied? Full? What do I have to eat in order to be considered full? Bottom line, eating bread, and we'll see the minimum amount. What's the minimum amount? What's the maximum amount?
Kazait.
What's kazait? What's the measurement of kazait?
Like half an egg or something.
You weigh it? Do I have a scale on my Shabbos table? How can that cause a lot of issues also? Okay. The pasuk in Parashat Ekev, it says, Ki Hashem Elokecha, Hashem, your God, Meviacha el haaretz atol eretz tova. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought us to a good land. Eretz nachale mayim, there's rivers and water and springs of water, and in the valley, in the mountain, Eretz chita, a land of wheat and barley and the geffen, and teina and a fig and pomegranate and olives and dates. By the way, when let me share with you something. If you say something negative against the land of Israel, you're breaking a law from the Torah.
That's true.
I'm talking about people. I'm talking about the land. Because Hashem said, this is a good land. I'm bringing you to the good land. People say, that's such a word. It's a bad land. It's a bad space, bad area, bad.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, Hashem said, I said it's good. You saying it's bad? You contradict me. So always be positive about the land of Israel. It was spies exactly, or 10 people that suffers the consequences. Big time. Big time. And the entire generation has to suffer also every year. Many thousands of die. For another time to talk. Anyways, and it says in the pasuk, when you eat and enjoy from the food, say a beracha. So our sages formed a bracha that we call today Birkat Hamazon. Birkat Hamazon. After eating. There is 3 brachot, kind of blessing that we do, 3, after eating. First one, the most important one, called Birkat Hamazon. What the second one? Allah Mechia or Me'ein Shalosh. Me'ein Shalosh. Contain a short version of 3 brachot on them. And what's the number 3, the shortest one? Kol boreh nefashos. So far, so good? Usually people don't forget, Birkat HaMazon. People turn to forget Ala Michya, especially on Boreh Nefashot. People eat snacks all the time and fruits all the time. Birka Bacha Achona, forget it. Okay, so it's another opportunity to do tikkun. For that matter, and you can fix it. One time saying from now on, I'm going to be strict about it. I'm going to fix it. So all these times you forgot, erased from the book, from your book. Right? You have to show efforts to do bracha acharona. Oh my God, I have no time. I'm just in the introduction. Okay. Any questions? Go ahead.
Now,
Don't ask me anything that is not related to what I already said.
no, this is okay.
So keep it, save it for later.
I started eating from this bag. I said the bracha, shared it with him, and then I opened a second bag. Am I required to say the same bracha, another
No,
bracha, or
no.
that one applied even
Applied.
though I shared it?
You're good, especially the same kind.
Thank you.
Because people also have in mind, even if I finish this bag that I have, I might take more.
Okay.
Regardless if you're sharing it or not. Okay. You cannot say bracha acharona, the bracha after eating, unless A, you're eating minimum kazait. Kazait means in Hebrew like an olive, means 27, 26 grams. It's debatable among different rabbis, depending on which custom you go. I'm just telling you, I'm trying to find the common denominator between all the poskim to find what's most acceptable. 27 grams. It's around half an egg. It's like the size of, let's say, a chale or something, a size of matchbox, the small one. You know the match box? Imagine that. To eat, that's the minimum. This is why always eat a little bit more. So you don't put yourself in a place that it's questionable.
I always tell her that. Let me eat a little bit more.
Isn't there also a minimum time?
I'll get to it. It's called achilat peras. I'll get to it. B, so first of all, minimum amount, in order to say bracha after, is when I eat kazait. 27 grams or 0.95 ounce. Let's listen to what I'm saying. It's a bracha after. Before, even just a little taste, a little drop on my tongue, it's required the bracha, as long as I enjoy the taste. Even if I taste a little bit, I take a drop of honey, put it on my tongue, I already enjoy the sweetness. For that amount alone, I have to say shehakol. Before anything, there's one exception. For water, I can drink water, a whole bottle, without saying a bracha, and I'm okay. Why? Because the halacha says, water, you only say bracha if you're thirsty. Hashote mayim letzama'o, meaning if you are thirsty, you want to drink water, say bracha. So what if I drink just because I don't want to get dehydrated? Or it's too spicy, the food, that I still feel it. I ate an hour ago, but I'm not thirsty. Just the taste is just, I say overtaste. No, drink it, no problem. No bracha is required. So, bracha after has to be a minimum kazait, 0.95 ounce or 27 grams. Number 2 is ochel, you ate it And shi'ur, in the amount, I'm going to explain. Kedei achilat pras. Pras, it sounds like a prize in Hebrew. If you translate pras, it's prize. But the meaning is the amount of time it takes to eat a half of a loaf of bread. Now the rabbi is debating half a loaf, debating if this is 9 minutes, 7 minutes, or 3 minutes. It depends whom you're following. Chazon Ish. For example, if I ate crackers and I ate tiny bit, and 10 minutes later another one, eventually at the end of the day I finished the whole bag. But in between it was over achilat pras. I was not consistent with it. I can't say bracha after because it has to be the minimum amount within, let's say, 5 minutes. Make sense now? Mm-hmm. Usually, normally, that's what people do.
So that applies to
Is it 5 minutes?
At the Seder, when we have the matzah.
Kedei achilat pras. That's a problem for Ashkenazim.
Yeah.
Why? I explain. And all those who have this big cardboard called matzah, dried matzah. Mm-hmm. The Yemenite has the soft matzah. The Moroccan, the Iraqi. Soft matzah, you eat just that amount. It's thick enough, weigh more than kazait. You finish it in less than a minute. And it's tasty, it's good.
What a concept.
I'm telling you, many years ago, everyone, including Ashkenazi, ate the soft matzah. Soft matzah. People, years later, try to, it's business, it's all about business and money, bottom line. Mm-hmm. In order to sell the matzah that they want to sell, they created a new psika, a new rules. The soft matzah, it's questionable, you trust us, it should last for longer. There's some true in it. Why? Because back then they had no freezers. Meaning the soft matzah would last for a day or two. After that it gets dry or it gets rotten because it contains more water. So what do you need to do in the midst of Pesach? You have to bake more matzah. And that's what Yemenite do all the time, and some other. They know, they keep all the rules, make sure to follow all the strict rules, and baking matzah, fresh one, every day. Turns out that many people that they don't really strict with the halacha caused a lot of problems. Ate chametz on Pesach. They ate chametz on Pesach.
Not that bad.
So the rabbi supported that idea and said, you know what? Buy a matzah in the beginning, before Pesach, and we made sure this matzah will last for many years after.
It's true.
I know it's true.
Been up there for a couple of years.
Baruch Hashem, I have the zechut to bake soft matzah every year. I'm baking here matzah every year. So to me, it's impossible to eat this cardboard. Anyways.
And yours is 18 minutes?
We're doing less even. We're doing around 13 minutes. 13 to 15 minutes. But it doesn't have to be 18 minutes. I can do it all day long.
Oh.
18 minutes is when you stop kneading it. When you let it sit. Maximum it can sit 18 minutes. But if you bang on it, you squeeze it, you play with it, it can be all day long. All right? And we also do small amounts. I don't produce for thousands of people. Few families, privately. It's my supervision. I get the wheat, I grind it. It's a whole process. I'm going to Waco, to a place that I know.
Is it white flour or?
Last year I had white flour. 2 years ago I had white flour. Last year I have what they call it the red wheat. It's not red, but it gives us like brownish
but it has
color.
been refined.
Yeah, we do it over there. And anyways, so what I'm saying is, it has to be kazait. It has to be achilat pras. What's achilat pras? The time it takes to eat half a loaf of bread. I will get to this measurement in a second.
You said, though, you went by 5 minutes, right? This goes from 9 to 3, correct?
I go by less. I go by the Chazon Ish for around 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Because it's easy for me to do with the matzah, in regard to the matzah. But kazait is such a small amount. It takes less than a minute to everybody, you know? So we have to think about what I'm doing. I'm doing a bracha. I want to be able to do bracha after. It's my zchut. So I'm just going to take a little bit bigger, portion and make sure to chew it quickly, but safely, okay? People that try to do this hard matzah in 4 or 5 minutes, it's really dangerous. You have to call an ambulance. It's risky. Tov, next.
So if you have a cup of coffee, do you say the bracha after?
Coffee?
Yeah.
Hot? No, it's important.
I don't drink hot. I don't drink hot.
Okay, anything, this is, okay. It's not what I meant to say. I mentioned that last week. Anything that you cannot revi'it amount, so this is something I will discuss later. Anything that cannot fill up your mouth with, any kind of food or drinks, at once, you don't say bracha after. Either it's too spicy, or it's alcohol, let's say whiskey, or arak, stuff like that, or hot coffee, hot soup, ice cream. Things that you drink, small bites, ice cream, small bites. Okay, soup, hot soup, small bite, coffee, hot coffee, right? If it's cold or you're drinking cold tea, they're selling it, iced tea, you have to say bracha after.
But if I can do big gulps of it, then
If you're so special that you lost the sense of, taste,
I wait for it to cool down.
it doesn't change anything, because the halacha follows what most of the people are capable, most people do. Even if you're special and you are able to drink hot coffee, one shot, the entire cup, I'm exaggerating, let's say, you still say no bracha after. This is why that brings another issue. This is why you have to finish it when it's still hot. Now, if it's 3/4 of it or half of it, it's cold. Now it's a problem. You can drink the cold part, right, in one shot.
Yeah.
So that's raised the question: should now I say bracha acharona or not? So the trick is to have kavanah. If I get to that situation, and I'm tired, then it's all about kavanah in our life. Have the right things in mind, because kavanah counts. Okay, let me continue. We'll get there. Be'ezrat Hashem. It looks like it's not going to be today all the way. Well, at least we're learning. So according to the Grach Noe, Reb Chaim Noe, the minimum amount in order to say bracha after a 28.8 milliliter. ml. Check it out. How much is in ounces? I'm not sure. And according to Chazon Ish is always a big measurement. It says almost 50, 49.8. You have to eat that much in order to say bracha after. In order to make it easy, our sages simplify it and convert it to grams. So the kazait, it's around 27 grams, which is around half an egg. Think half an egg size. Okay? Small eggs is around 52 grams, 56 grams. I saw different opinions, 51 to 57 grams. Depends if this is the medium egg or the small egg. But you got the idea? Okay. Any questions? Nothing. Good. Moving on. What's the minimum? What is shi'ur al-revi'it? You heard the word revi'it before? The minimum amount that you should drink in order to be chayav. It's mandatory now to say bracha after. So I said, over a juice, wonderful orange juice that Leah brought. Baruch atah she'akol niya bidvaro. Good, I finished it.
So
should I say bracha after? If so, which bracha?
Oh,
Beneficial. So what's the minimum amount? I just pour a little bit and I try it.
Just a little bit. If it's not
I just tried it, or I pour less than Revit.
3 ounces.
Do I say Boren Fashot after? That puts you in a spot, in a problem, because now it's questionable. Should you say, you shouldn't say, some opinions, yes, some no. This is why drink just as much as Revit, which is around a little bit less than 3 ounces. Around 27 to 28 ounces. It's less than his, what is this cup? This is 6?
9.
This is 9?
I have a,
So 1/3, it's not much. When you prepare your 4 cups for Passover, make sure it's the cups that has a little bit over 3 ounces and pour almost all the way to the top, and that's it. Be'ez Hashem, when we get to Passover, I'll give you and I'll show you an example and how to do it. You have to do it properly. You have to drink it one shot. You can't drink on Passover the 4 cups like that. Lila, you have to do 1 shot Revit.
And drink the whole cup, right?
That's why I buy
Rashi.
wine that's lower.
That's not hot. If it would be ketchup, you would do it.
There you go.
No questions asked, right?
Mine's a different story.
Can you make it like a
They don't like
rock
big
out of
ketchup.
tomatoes?
Huh?
Can you make it a rock out of tomatoes for them?
That's a good, not a bad
You
idea.
can,
Okay, the Shiur Revit I just shared with you. It's around between 81 to 86 cc. It's not much. It's around 2.7 ounce. Okay, think 3 ounce and you're good. Always good to be a little bit above that. Any questions? I have 7 minutes. Okay. Listen to this. There is something in the world of brachot that's called shalem. What's shalem?
Complete. Whole.
Huh? Complete.
like refuah shlema.
Complete. Shalem is complete. In order to say bracha harona, if I need to eat 1 grape, it's less than kazait. Can you get me the grapes? Okay. Do you see this grape? It's less than kazait. This is the size of half an egg. It's less. How many do you think it will be safe?
3.
At least 3. I agree. At least 3. If I eat 3 and up, I have to say bracha after.
Yeah.
Allah michi, Allah etz al priyat, right? Good. And you say, if this is not from Israel, al ha'etz, lo al etza, lo al perotea, al perot, al perotea. We'll get there, we'll discuss it. But 3, bracha before, bracha after. Make sense?
Yes.
What if I ate only 1?
No bracha afterwards.
Then you can't.
And comes the law, the rule says shalem. It's a complete fruit. Complete fruit has significance. Meaning, in Yerushalmi, it says, if someone eats a whole grape, or you take 1 seed of a rimon, pomegranate, 1 seed, little one, but it's shalem, it's a complete one, or nut. Nevertheless, he has the amount less than kazait, you must say bracha harona, because he has chashivut. It's important, stand by itself. This is why if you ate only one half a nut, pistachio is good, because pistachio is it's a good example. It's a bracha after. What bracha after over pistachio? Nefashot. You got the word shalem, the idea here? Has to be kazait, achilat pras, within 5 minutes. And even if it's a smaller amount than kazait, but it's shalem, it's a whole fruit, you're still required to do bracha after. Allah etz or priyat. Today it's easy. Why? When we were kids, we always got to have a sidur till you to how to say Allah michya, how to say Allah etz. But today we have it on the palm of your hand. You have it on your phone. It's easy to say Allah etz, Allah priyat, Allah michya. Okay, there are no excuses. Now, Most of the poskim says no. If it's not kazait, you don't say bracha after. They're debating. Bottom line, I don't know which posek you are following. Bottom line, always stay away from these kind of debates or safek, doubts. Eat extra. If you ate a little bit, one nut, and you didn't say bracha after, you can rely on the opinion that says you not have to. But someone that is a tzaddik, make sure to cover all opinion. Okay? All the brachot that we do, it's from the Torah or it's a rabbinical or from the Torah. All the brachot that we sing. What?
All
of them?
All the brachot, Shakol, Lamotzi, bracha after, from the Torah or from it's all rabbinical laws. Except Birkat HaMazon. Okay? Any questions? Okay. What time? Let me just conclude today's class with one more thing. I want to answer the question I think I asked in the beginning of the class. What do you do if you leave the room? You go from here to your car. You go outside for a minute. So anything that the last bracha is nefashot, let's say a soda. Okay? If I left the house, when I come back, I have to say bracha she'akol again. Anything that is ala michya, mezonot, or bread, even if I left the room, when I come back, I don't have to say bracha. Because the food that requires blessing of ala michya or birkat hamazon has chashivut, has some sort of significance. So it's in your head, it's in your mind. I'm going back to how many times you left the soda open and you didn't come back? It's not. Or fruit, or apple, or banana. If the less bracha is nefashot, and you left the room, you're coming back, you have to say the bracha again. If you left someone on the table, you don't have to say it. It's only if you're by yourself. Because in your head, I have to go back because people are waiting for me. And my wife there, my husband, my friends. So in your head, you're coming back. Even if it's only borei nefashot, after you don't have to say it. Make sense? Believe me, there's much more to share. Did you ever think that it's so many details? Believe me, there's more. But this is our responsibility to study it. So, yes.
Is there also a time period when you leave? Is there a certain amount of time that you can be gone before you come back? To
borei nefashot? Yeah, even if you live just a bit. Oh, ala michya? Ala michya, it doesn't matter.
So you can leave for a certain amount of time and come back?
Oh. If you leave for half a day, it's a different story. But if you leave with intention, if you go to Tam Tam to bring something and you're coming back, it's still good to the store. Okay. But if you just left to work, you say, I forgot the cake on the... It's going to be a problem. When you come back home, I have to say bracha over the cake. So what do? You say ala micha wherever you're at. Oh. Unless it's easy to come back. You're really close. This is something to discuss on another occasion, okay? What if you forgot to say birkat hamazon? What if you forgot to say hamotzi? What if you forgot to say brachot before or after? What do you do? Something to discuss. Happens all the time. They say birkat hamazon. They say borei nefashot hamazon. I want to dedicate this Torah class for the sake of the soul of the list. Unfortunately, it's a list of